ever lost or if I was ever in trouble to look for a black lady or a family.
Great-grandfather did this and, we were this tribe and we had this type of history. It's like, we don't really have that. Not only was our history stripped from us.
And so I've viewed myself and I've called myself an African American my whole life. I've only ever used the term black in the political sense.
African American woman is in shock what a white kid told her when she decided to help a white kid. And also I have other Africans and African Americans sharing their experiences and what they think about Africa and African Americans going at each other and people coming to Africa and all that. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Let's go into the videos, watch, come back and talk.
I'm sitting in this car trying to gather myself because the wildest shit just happened to me and I'm at a loss. So I was just walking. I was going for a jog at the park and then I started just walking my last couple laps. This little boy runs up to me and he's like, I can't find my mom. I'm lost. I can't find my mom. And first, I'm throwing the fuck off because what do you mean? This little white boy, he had to be 7, 8. He's panicked, can't find my mom, please help me find my mom. And I'm like, okay. So we're backtracking. I'm like, who else were you here with other than your mom? What's your name? What's your mom's name? I was like, where was the last place that you saw your mom at before you got lost? He's telling me all this stuff. So we go back to that location. We're walking around and I happened to notice there was a bathroom near that location. So I walk inside the bathroom with him. I'm like, call your mom. And he's like, mom. I'm like, what is your mom's name? And he told me her name. So I'm yelling her name and she's like, yes. She's comes out of the bathroom with the little her other kid who's younger, and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, is this your son? And she's like, I'm like, what's his name? And she tells me, I'm like, is this your mom? And he was like, I'm like, cool. So I explained to her your son thought that he was lost, This little boy, y'all, stops, looks at his mom, says, mom, you were right. You told me that if I got lost to look for a black lady or a black family, you were right. Excuse me? I was like, what? He was like, my mom told me that if I was ever lost or if I was ever in trouble to look for a black lady or a family. I'm like, what? So I look at her and she was like, yes, I've told my child since he could formulate words or thoughts that if he's ever lost or in trouble to look for a black woman or a black family because he will be fine. And I'm like, that is insane. And this woman spent the next 20 minutes talking while her kids were playing, talking about the difference between a child asking a white person or a white family for help versus a black woman or a black family. I had never heard of this. She's like, yes, I think every white woman that I know has told their child this. She then proceeds to tell me, she's like, I don't know that black people don't harm children, but I know for a fact that white people harm kids and kidnap kids for fun. I have never, I was at a loss for words. I talk. I didn't even have the words to formulate to explain to her how shocked I was at what because I know this to be true. There's never been a time in my black ass life where I have seen a black woman and not thought that in the least she's going to look out. You know what I mean? Whether I know you or not, I know if some shit pop off, me and this black girl, we got each other. You know what I mean? I've never doubted that. I did not know that white people knew that. I had no idea that white people knew that black women, we're going to take care of. I don't give a fuck who that child belongs to. I don't care that if I've never seen the child, I don't give a fuck if that kid is Asian, white, don't care. I did not know that they knew this. That shit it broke my brain. And I am so glad that I did what I was supposed to do for all of us. For all my sisters, I passed the fucking test because that little boy, I'm talking about, he ran up to me and held my hand. I'm lost. I can't find my mom. That white lady said, and here's the crazy part, I don't know if I told y'all this, she didn't even know that her son was lost. She had gone to the bathroom. I told him I was going to the bathroom. He must have not heard her or whatever, but she was not panicked. She was like, my kid was playing. First of all, why the fuck would you go to the bathroom with your one kid, leave your 7-year-old by himself at the park? Insane, but whatever.
Go back to Africa. Go back to the jungle. Go back to wherever you came from. This is what they used to say to me when I came to Canada. And as much as it hurt, I never really took it to heart because I knew I was here on a mission. You know, for a very long time, we were conditioned to believe that if you want to be successful, you have to go to America. And if you couldn't, then come to Canada. But there is absolutely no way you could ever be successful in your country. And we actually believe that. That's why there are so many of us here in this country. But now we know the truth. We know that we've been duped. We know that this system was never designed for us to be successful. This system was designed for us to survive, for us to remain stuck and dependent on it for the rest of our life. I mean, look around you. Can't you see? There is no equality in this system. Money is only designed to move upward and to only circulate at the top. And for the average person, the middle class, no matter how hard they work, they're never, ever going to be successful. As a matter of fact, it's just going to push them further and further into poverty, putting them at risk of homelessness.
It's almost 3 a.m. I will not sleep until I address Black Americans today. Dear Black Americans, I'm begging you in the name of ancestors who didn't leave Africa through one airport. I'm begging you in the name of West and Central African coastline. I'm begging you in the name of map of Africa. I'm begging you in the name of African countries who didn't hire PR teams. I'm begging you in the name of ancestors who didn't leave Africa from one zip code. Please, stop treating Africa like it's a country group project where only Ghana did their homework. Yes, Ghana is beautiful. The history is powerful. The castles are still standing. But use your brain and your passport. Your roots didn't come from one departure gate. They were taken from across West and Central African coasts, from different languages, different cultures, different tribes and kingdoms. Africa is made up of 54 countries, not buy one, take one destination. Every time you guys go to the motherland, you post about Ghana. There are other parts of Africa where history was made, like the Bimbia slave trade port in Cameroon. This site still exists today. History happened in this place. Ancestors, they passed through there too. But it's not trending, it's quiet. Are we trying to erase that part of history? Huh? Have you guys forgotten that your DNA is layered? Your DNA is mixed. Your DNA is regional. Your DNA is continental. I'm not saying don't go to Ghana. I'm saying stop treating Africa like it has only one front door. Learn deeper. Explore wider. Because your story is stronger than one stamp in your passport. They also came from Nigeria, Benin, Cameroon, Ghana, Senegal, and more. Don't visit only one place, only Ghana. Please, after Ghana, explore more. Go and explore. Please, I'm begging you. Because there is history in other places, not just Ghana. Yes, ancestors came from other parts of Africa.
Speed went to Africa, and I'm glad he went. It's kind of helped remove a little bit of doubt on whether or not I want to go. And I mean, I got to be honest, there's still a little bit of doubt just because of how I look, right? It doesn't matter that I am black on both sides for more than 8 generations. That don't matter. Look at me, right? I'm light skinned. I got a red beard in the sunlight. You get what I'm saying? Even black people here in America treat me like I'm not all black. So for me, it's like, will I be treated the same way in Africa, right? Like Speed's dark. He looked like he lived there, right? But I don't look like I'm like I live there, and I don't look like I'm that much connected. At least that's how I'm treated, right? At least that's how I'm treated. But whether or not that exists in my mind, whether or not I think about that, I still am considering going more now than ever. by watching him go. And I also do understand that because he is celebrity, he will be treated with more, a more welcoming spirit and all of that. But at the same time, I got friends and family who've gone and they said that they had the same experience, a similar experience. I have friends and family who are just as light skinned as me. And they've said, they went to Africa and, people was like, you're our brother, you belong here, this and that. And so I think that watching him go and thinking about all this has revealed to me that I have been slightly manipulated by the narrative, right? By the narrative that other Black Americans create and that the media creates on whether or not we should go or we belong or anything like that. And also just from a cultural heritage standpoint, I've never been one to pound the Black period drum, right? Like I recognize that my ancestry starts there. And so I've viewed myself and I've called myself an African American my whole life. I've only ever used the term Black in the political sense. And when I say Black in the political sense, I mean, as Chancellor Williams describes the creation of Black in the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, right? If you've never read that, then read that and then reconsider what Black is, because from his perspective and many scholars' perspective, Black is a political term. It's a political term, and it's a distinction that actually makes it harder for us to have power within the diaspora, for us to all come together. And so I've never been one to truly align with that, right? I've only ever used Black in the terms of Black nationalism and all of that. And when I talk Black nationalism, I speak of Black nationalism as Khalid prescribed it, not as Malcolm prescribed it or others, but as Khalid prescribed it. You see what I'm saying? So for me, this whole thing has actually been really eye-opening. I think that I have been manipulated slightly by the narrative. And I think that him going and it being so public, I honestly do believe that it's helped me make up my mind on whether or not I should go. And I think it has broken a little bit of my nervousness about it. And so I'm gonna consider it. I think that I'd be a fool not to go for myself and have that experience. If I go and I get treated like crap, then you know what I'm saying? It's been answered for me. But if I go and I feel any bit of welcomed, then I don't know what to say after that, man. I might just, you feel me? Cause I mean, let's be real here. People like Black folk be like, oh, this is our home. You know what I'm saying? Black America's our home. We built this. Bro, we built this under duress. We didn't build this cause we loved it. We built it under duress. It's just plain and simple fact. I'm not trying to claim something that my ancestors built underneath lock and key, underneath chain and shackle. I'm not with that. But at the same time, I recognize how much they fought for what they have here, right? So you get what I'm saying? Like, you see the confusion it brings up. It makes things a little bit harder. I don't know, man. It's really had me just rethinking my entire outlook. So I am going to go and I'm going to see for myself. And I mean, hell, if I die before I get to go, at least I'll die knowing that I've allowed myself to accept that it could be different for me. So I don't know. I just had to share that. I had to get off my chest because I've been thinking about it too much. Peace out.
Black history is not just Black excellence. I love that one Black History Month edit, but I need y'all to understand Black history is you. It is me. It is everyone on this app who makes this thing run. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's the bus driver, it's the school teacher. It's us. We are the lifeblood. We are the thing that makes this all work. Since the jump. Not to say that we shouldn't enjoy our famous Black people. Absolutely. And appreciate them. But especially during this time, honor your ancestors by learning about them. And not just those from the past, those from the present. See, when we all came up in school, we were taught about the same few people every single year for a reason. Because the writers of that book wanted to minimize what we contribute, what we do, what we're responsible for. The inventions, the ideologies, the sciences. If you understood that, you might get involved in those things yourself. You might become someone very important and well connected in a lot of industries. And if you do things like that, you might be a credit to your people. Nothing is an accident, including you finding this video. Happy Black History Month. And just remember, if you learn from the past and the present, you can change the future. Oh, and grown man, by the way. Don't believe me? Watch this. The usual suspects hate this month.
To be fair, and I don't know if this is necessarily a good or bad thing. I guess it depends on your opinion or your thoughts on it. The government giving citizenship to an influencer with over 50 million YouTube subscribers, who was recently named most influential creator of 2025 by Rolling Stone, is actually a calculated marketing win. It's great for business. It's great for the optics. I don't agree that speed hasn't contributed to the GDP. I think that's very relative. One thing I do know is that he showcased Ghana, and Joe, you were referencing the Google search of air. I don't know if you'll get to that, but he definitely had Ghana in the news a lot. These things are great for tourism. These are things that will garner a lot of interest. But very quickly, just to wrap up, it's beautiful that iShowSpeed was able to, in his own way, counter global stereotypes of, poverty. He's shown our modern infrastructure. He's shown our vibrant culture to a massive Gen Z audience.
I think one thing that's really hard to explain to Ghanaians coming into here as a Black American is like, most Black Americans don't really know our history, like our family history like that. So when we get here and, Ghanaians and Nigerians and everybody can like go back literally to the very beginning of their origins of a family. And it's like, my grandfather, my great, 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 great grandfather did this. And, we were this tribe and we had this type of history. It's like, we don't really have that. Not only was our history stripped from us intentionally, you try to go back and, do research about what was what. It's like, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of lack of clarity. There's a lot of stuff where it's just kind of like, you kind of doubt it because it's like things just kind of thrown together. Even there's a company recently where it's like something doing ancestry and it's like they were literally scamming people. So then as it just feels like as a Black American, it's kind of hard to do all of that research and like completely go back. And it's really hard to explain to Ghanaians because they'll just be like, oh, like, are you Ghanaian? And it's like, well, maybe. Like this is a very uncomfortable conversation. And I feel like more people need to have this conversation, but it's like, it's not really talked about like that because, as a Black American, we really don't be knowing our history like that. And it's kind of like a identity crisis, being in America or being here. So yeah,
Africa being an uninhabitable wasteland was a lie that the American government told you to make you forget the fact that everything, and I mean everything, and I mean all life, all wealth, everything originated in Africa. The source code of DNA, of riches, of anything considered wealth originates in Africa. And it took a Twitch streamer to remind you of that. Everybody originated in Africa, and so did everything that we extract. Every single thing that makes Western countries great comes from other countries. It comes from international exchange, or should I say exploitation, colonization. You get the picture. Stolen people, stolen. Everything is stolen.
West Africa is the second place where rice was domesticated. What does that mean? Well, the first place rice was domesticated was in Asia, and that's the most common rice that we talk about and that we eat and that we know because it's much easier to cultivate. But West Africa also was able to domesticate rice, specifically the African rice coast. This is a specific type of rice and rice cultivation that was invented by West African people as of 1500 BC. The people and their culture was connected to rice cultivation. So West African people knew how to cultivate rice. They knew how to create rice dishes, and the rice that came out of West Africa also impacted North Africa and also impacted Spain, Portugal, all of those regions. Also, West African people were brought to Mexico or Nueva España during colonialism by the Spaniards, and they were enslaved in Mexico or Nueva España and the American Southwest. By 1549, 29% of the population in Nueva España or modern-day Mexico and the American Southwest were West African. So that means that they were the ones who created the rice culture. They cultivated the rice because they have thousands of years of rice cultivation experience, and the Spanish brought them to Nueva España to cultivate the rice, and they were the ones who created all the rice dishes. So arroz rojo is actually has West African roots, and a lot of the rice dishes in Mexican culture have West African roots.
Black people understood that sex was a weapon as well. that was introduced by white people. If they couldn't capture you with alcohol, they must capture you with sex. White people introduced porn, they introduced the Playboy era, so if they can't catch you with alcohol, they must catch you with something else, an activity that's going to take your mind away. That's why our great-grandfathers understood that sex was not just sex, it made the men weak. Even Oshaka used to say, sex makes indoda inteke, because if you could be under attack or someone would want profound reasoning from you after sex, you would be incapable as a man. And as a woman, if you are having sex very often, especially exchanging partners like we have normalized now in our society, you would understand that every time you have sex, your spirituality, your eye closes. Your spiritual eye closes as a woman. Remember, the woman was the custodian of spirituality. She was the womb of the nation. She was the protector of the nation. And then the man comes behind me and protects me. This mother nature in him is protected by the head of the home. But to divide us and to make sure he runs that way, they made sex fascinating. They made fornicating fascinating, affairs fascinating. You understand? They made bums fascinating. Why am I saying bums? Because we came with bums. We know bums. Why are black men so fascinated and allowing small things like bums break our families? Osara Batman is our forefather or foremother. Yeah, understand? She came with the bums. We are used to bums. We didn't have clothes. We were not perverted as a black culture. It was okay for little girls to walk around and those small little skirts. It was okay. That is where the originality comes from. We were not wearing a bras, Tina. It was a safe society until it was not, but breast. And then now we're thinking, oh, breast. Do you understand? So we were in harmony. And then we adopted cultures that were culture shocked by our peace that came with chaos, and we inherited the chaos and multiplied the chaos as a black person.
Hey guys, my name is Marina and I want to talk to you about the safety in Ghana. I've been there myself and I can tell you Ghana is one of West Africa's most safest and tourist-friendliest countries. You can expect peaceful streets, welcoming locals and helpful tour guides. You just need to follow some basic traveling rules and you're good to go. And now I have one last advice for you. Tour with Walla will help you plan stress-free. You can just enjoy your trip.
Good morning. I want to talk about a few things that African immigrants or Africans that visiting don't like about America. They don't like this at all, in fact. Number one, they don't like guns. I've noticed that they tend to just stay away from guns. They don't have any interest in them at all, whereas in American culture, that's the backbone of how we operate. So I will ask them, would you like to go to a gun range? Nope. They literally don't want to have any part in a weapon. And it's strange because from propaganda, you would think that they would want to know about guns and how to use them, but not at all, okay? Next, they don't like our tax system. For example, you'll go to the store with them, they'll see the price put on the object. Let's say, for instance, on the box, it's printed on the box. Then you go to the checkout, whether it be self-checkout or a person checkout. And then let's say, for instance, if it's $2, then they'll say $2.19. And it's kind of funny because they'll look at me, it says $2 on the box. Why is the price now up? And I tell them, hey, it's the tax system. Look at your paycheck. You're generally taxed from the federal government and the state government at the same time. All right. So they generally don't like the tax system. And another thing that they struggle with is the credit system. All right. The buy now, pay later system. It's fun in the beginning, but it always catches you on the end. All right, guys, have a good day.
Guys, you have to see this. Duma Boko, the president of Botswana, he gave his vision about Africa today at this panel. And many of the audience, they were laughing at first. But with his brilliant response, he won over the crowd and it ended in applause. Look,
Africa generally is a very young continent with a median age of 19.3. Botswana's median age is 25. And so with such a population, Africa is poised to rule the world.
So, what are your plans for the world once you rule it?
To make it fairer, to make it more equitable, to ensure that intellectual property is internalized in every part of the African continent, that innovation serves humanity, not just a predatory elite, and that everybody can partake equitably and benefit from the fruits of the economy and the vast opportunities that are available in the world.
What do you guys think about this? He brought up statistics talking about how Africa will be the future, and the interviewer and the audience, they were very skeptical at first. But with his positive vision and showing that there will be more equality in the future, he won over the crowd. Personally, I think he's a brilliant leader, and Botswana, they're so lucky to have him. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below.
So, the question that I want to ask is that these people, meaning they know that black women will never hurt their kids, but yet they tell everyone that we are bad. Like, make me understand this. They tell everyone we are bad, but yet in their homes, they tell their kids, if you get lost, find a black woman. Like, seriously? Meaning their own people, even a white woman knows that another white woman cannot save her child or her kid. This is shocking. I'm not so surprised the lady is like shocked. This is something that I am sure, this should tell you that these people, they know that we are good people. They know deep down that we are good people, but they just don't want to accept the fact that we are good people, or they don't want the world to know that we are good people. But they know. I all the time say that these people, they know who we are. I know during slavery, most of the history and everything about Africans and blacks were just stolen and bent down and destroyed, a whole lot of things. So we don't have the truth to a lot of things, but they know, and they know who we are. Because I all the time say that, why do they even hate us? We don't have guns, we don't have weapons, we don't have any missiles, we don't have nuclear, we don't have all those things. So why do they hate us? There is something they are not telling us. They know there is something they are not telling us. And this Cameroonian guy talking about African Americans coming to Ghana all the time, coming to Ghana. The reason why most African Americans come to Ghana or prefer coming to Ghana is that Ghana is the country that basically did this advertisement in 2018 calling the African diaspora to come and visit Africa. Secondly, Ghana, when it comes to the slavery, Ghana has oldest slave dungeon or slave castle that was built in Africa. That's Elmina Castle is in Ghana. Cape Coast Castle is in Ghana. So it's right for African Americans to say that if they want to come to Africa and learn about anything about slavery, the best place to come is Ghana. So please, this shouldn't be a problem to our Africans. They are not just coming to Ghana. Yes, they are coming to Ghana more, but some too are going to Senegal and other African countries. So please, we should all accept this. Ghana invested and they are basically reaping the benefits. So hey, don't be too hard on us. Okay, thank you so much for watching.